Before a single doe walks onto hill country axis, there is only the land. Rolling limestone country in Menard and McCulloch counties, live oak canopy, cedar breaks, native grasses cured tan by August heat, greened again by October rain. It is beautiful, but that is not why it was chosen. It was chosen because it will do the work. A ranch, at the beginning, is a set of decisions about geometry, about where feed will move, where water will run, where animals can rest without seeing each other, where a person can walk each morning and read the herd. Every gate, every fence line, every buried supply pipe answers a question about the animals that will live here. This is the story of that geometry, of two adjoining ranches, one central feed lane, 25 pens shaped like a fan, and a plan built in the order the herd will need it.
Hill Country Axis operates across two adjoining properties in central Texas. Rain Creek Ranch, roughly 3,200 acres, with its mailing address at 1755 Private Road 506, Menard, Texas, holds the breeding complex, the handling barn, and the administrative core of the operation. El Chatal Ranch, 507 acres, immediately adjoining, carries part of the grow-out ranch and the family residence. The partnership is deliberate. Rain Creek Ranch owns the breeding facility and provides the physical infrastructure. El Chatal Ranch, the Chambers family property, provides the day-to-day labor. Net proceeds from the breeding program are shared between the two. The pen complex sits near the boundary between them, close enough that the family walks to work, close enough that the herd is never far from the people responsible for it. The site itself was not accidental. Selection favored gently rolling terrain that could be graded for a single-level feed lane. It favored dependable groundwater. And it favored the native character of the hill country, live oak, juniper, and native grasses, because that character supports both animal welfare and the visual identity of everything that follows. The ranch is organized around functional areas rather than a single herd. There is a foundation pasture, 20 acres, where the founding animals live under minimal human disturbance. There is a breeding complex of 25 managed pens connected by a central feed lane. There is a handling barn where every recorded event in an animal's life takes place. There is a grow-out ranch, known in the documentary as the Buck Academy on the El Chatal side, and a camera network that runs beneath and above all of it, feeding the ranch's intelligence system. The governing principle is written down in the master reference, and it is short. Infrastructure exists to serve the deer, the data, and the family, in that order. Every structure on the ranch is asked a single question. Does it reduce stress? Does it improve observation? Does it preserve knowledge? If it does none of the three, it does not belong on the master plan.
Every deliberate herd begins with a wild one. The foundation pasture is 20 acres, set apart from the main breeding complex, and it is the lowest stress environment on the ranch. Approximately 20 founding does and 2 to 3 breeder bucks live here, provided with feed, with water, and with mineral supplementation on a fixed, low-frequency schedule. Human disturbance is minimized on purpose. The intent is to allow wild herd behavior, the natural social structure of an axis herd, while maintaining excellent nutrition and continuous observation. The animals are watched, but not approached. Cellular-connected game cameras cover the pasture, outside the reach of the pen complex's Wi-Fi footprint. A thermal drone program is being developed to locate newborn fawns at ground level in the earliest hours of life, quietly, from above, without disturbing the herd. Selected first-generation fawns are bottle-raised into the managed program. They will become the calm, familiar animals that make the next generation of breeding possible, the bridge between a wild herd and a working one. The perimeter is a game-standard high fence, 8 feet minimum. The interior, deliberately, feels almost wild, because that is exactly what it is.
Beyond the foundation pasture, the shape of the ranch becomes exact. The breeding complex is a fan. 25 managed pens radiate outward from a series of numbered junction stations along a single central feed lane. The property narrows to a point at the western tip and widens toward the east, where the lane meets the handling barn. The geometry follows the land, narrow to broad, west to east. Each junction along the lane is numbered as a station, stations 1 through 9, counted from the western tip toward the handling barn. Each station carries a north pen and a south pen, 1 north and 1 south, 2 north and 2 south, and so on. At the very tip, where the property comes to a point and pens converge without a clean north-south split, is pen 0. Station numbers are posted on the feed lane side of each junction gate, so that a lane worker on foot and the ranch operations database reference the same identifier for the same pen. Each pen is built to a shared standard: welded wire or pipe game fence, 8 feet minimum, a gravity feeder, an automatic waterer, a hay rack, a dedicated mineral feeder, a 3-sided barn or a mature shade tree. Native soil, graded so water runs away from feed and water, because standing water at a feed point is where parasites concentrate. But the piece of infrastructure that defines the entire complex is not a pen. It is the lane. The central feed lane is a single graded corridor running the length of the breeding complex, flanked on one or both sides by pens. Its surface is all-weather caliche or gravel. Its purpose is to allow one person in a single morning pass between 7 and 8 o'clock to service every pen, every feeder, every hay rack, every waterer, without ever entering a pen. Utilities run beneath it, buried water lines, power where needed. It is designed to scale, to reach 200 breeding does someday, without adding a single person to the routine feeding rotation. The daily feeding pass is also the daily observation window. 25 pens, 1 walk, every animal seen, every unusual thing noticed before it becomes a problem. Every gate has a triangle set into it, a wedge-shaped catch that helps a lane worker push feed and animals in the direction the design intends. Nothing about the geometry is ornamental. Every angle is a decision.
Everything that supports the animals runs beneath and around the pens. Water first, because water is the most critical nutritional input on a ranch. Every pen is served by an automatic waterer on a buried, freeze-protected supply line drawn from groundwater wells. Every branch line has a shutoff valve, so a single pen can be isolated for treatment or maintenance without affecting the rest of the complex. A 500-gallon backup tank on an ATV can reach any pen within 2 hours of any system failure. Fencing next. 8-foot game fence perimeter across the foundation pasture, the breeding complex, and the grow-out ranch across the foundation pasture. Welded wire or pipe interior pen fence shared between adjacent pens where practical. And at the pressure points, pen corners, junction stations, shared boundaries between mature buck pens, the approach to the handling chute, solid or densely woven windscreens. Deer are prey animals. An unbroken sight line through a fence is a visual cue for pacing, for fence testing, for panic.
A windscreen at the right point removes that line and lowers the stress of the whole pen. The handling barn is the operational hub, squeeze chute sized for axis deer, an inline livestock scale, a veterinary area, a feed room stocked to a 30-day minimum, and a wired record collection point that speaks directly to the ranch operations database. Every recorded weight, every DNA sample, every vaccination, every fecal egg count enters the ranch's memory here. Above and across all of it, the camera network. A dedicated Wi-Fi network runs the pen complex. Cellular cameras cover the foundation pasture and the grow-out ranch beyond it. Fixed cameras at every water and mineral station. Pen-level coverage across all 25 pens. Daily photographs of every identifiable animal run through the artificial intelligence system, cross-checked against ear tag and coat pattern, and returned as a body condition score for that animal on that day. And then, beyond the eastern boundary, on the El Chital side, the grow-out ranch. 507 acres of lower stocking density, near natural conditions, where promising young bucks develop their full expression before they are confirmed as breeders, as sale animals, or as retained stock. In the documentary, it is called the Buck Academy. On the map, it is the future.
The ranch will be built in the order the herd needs it. Site preparation first, roads, wells, power to the barn, then the perimeter and the foundation pasture, then the central feed lane, and only then the 25 pens along it, one by one, then the handling barn, then the camera network, then the grow-out ranch, and the family residence overlooking it. None of it is decorative. Every fence line, every buried pipe, every windscreen at a pen corner is a decision written down before a single animal arrives on the ground. And every decision, in the end, answers to the same governing principle. Infrastructure exists to serve the deer, the data, and the family, in that order.